back to the Apatros review. In this episode, Queen of the Amazons, also known as Colossus and Amazon Queen, which is the English language title it's released in, but it's actually called Queen of the Amazons. Hi there, welcome back to the Apatros review. In this episode, we look at the first time we look at an Italian Peplum film, although this is one of the stranger ones. This particular film, Queen of the Amazons, was released in various public domain prints, and so you'll find it practically anywhere, and directed by Vittorio Sala and came out in Italy on the 8th of September 1960. Now, like I said, it's available in numerous public domain VHS and DVD releases, often with mediocre or poor quality prints. Now for the story. A group of Greek men, including a strong man, are tricked into crewing a cargo ship to a remote island. There they are drugged and taken prisoner by a kingdom of fierce women calling themselves the Amazons. All the men in the kingdom are treated as indentured servants and slaves, but the new arrivals, including the muscleman Glauco, are determined to shake things up a bit. Now the Peplum was, this is the first time I'm doing a Peplum, I'll do a few of them, a couple of them in the future. The Peplum was Italy's first major indigenous filmmaking genre, and the genre that started the country's dominance of the B-movie industry from 1958 all the way up to at least 1989, a span of about 30 years or so. The Peplum started with the Italian production of Hercules, starring Steve Reeves, and went on to rule international cinema and your local drive-in from 1958 to about late 1964 when the genre essentially ran its course and dried up completely. Of course, by then the Italians found other genres to play around with. The Peplum is basically the Italian quasi-historical mythical strongman fantasy, where both immortal and mortal beefcakes will go around ancient locales, saving damsels in distress, undertake perilous quests to save whole kingdoms from hostile intruders, battling various ugly monsters, and doing a whole plethora of lifting large styrofoam objects and using said objects to knock down whole armies like bowling pins. The early Peplum were decent enough, but by the time of 1964 this genre really had nothing more to say, although there were a couple passable ones in 1964, and the majority of Peplum made at the end of the cycle were pretty much atrocious. The majority, not all. There's a good one from 1964 I'll review soon. As in the case of Queen of the Amazons, known in English release as Colossus and the Amazon Queen, which is what my public domain copy was titled with, director Vittorio Sala decided to make the most of the beaten track route for Peplum by turning this into a comedy. That's right, Peplum comedy. The film is construed as a sort of parody of the whole Peplum genre, and given the crud that will follow through in the dying years of the early 1960s, this is the most worrying idea. While the approach has some merit, not to mention some decent production design, like the interesting military uniforms the Amazons would wear one breast poking out of the uniform, but covered red cloth to avoid pissing off any senses. This was made in 1960 when most markets were not used to nudity in mainstream drive-in fare. Although some filmmakers were doing their best to subvert things like Coleman Francis did with the first 19 seconds of his awesomely bad monster flick The BC Yucca Flats by showing a naked woman coming out of a bath, the film's main problem is that the moronic slapstick and at times severely chauvinistic humor and overall sexist attitude and imprisonment towards the women in enslaving them was pretty much condemning this film to the trash can of cinematic history. It is also very annoying to watch, and I personally had to speed scan my way through it. Oh, by the way, speed scanning is when you watch the film entirely in fast forward, only stopping at certain sections to pick up vital plot points or to see the best parts of the film without having to wait for the rest of the film, to avoid getting brain poisoning. Rod Taylor must have been seriously hard up for the cash to make something as idiotic as this, but that said, nobody had any excuse to make a film as bad as this, although the sight of men being turned to, indentured domestic household engineers, my term, is pretty funny if you give it some thought. If that wasn't bad enough, the film's director of photography, a certain bloke by the name of Bitter Albertini, would later go on to make one of the very worst Italian Star Wars knockoffs ever, the softcore space opera Erotic Games in the Third Galaxy, more commonly known in English as Escape from Galaxy 3, also known as Star Crash 2, which combined the story of Star Wars with a post-apocalyptic softcore sex romp to a PG level, and some awesome space jargon dialogue. And I'll review that in the future, hopefully. Now for the gore report. There's no gore scene, although there's plain punch-ups. Not really any nudity, although there was one scene where Glauco encounters an Amazon is taking a bath in a river. She is technically naked, but the shot is a file one, and the bad quality review print means you won't see anything sensitive. Although even if this was a good quality print, the distance between the actress and the camera would render any visible nudity impossible to make out. I give Queen of the Amazons the dreaded D-, 1 out of 10, meaning it's an awful attempt to make a comedy version of the standard Peplum. Good thing these sorts of films were very rare. Now, hope you're enjoying your time during this coronavirus lockdown, and that's it for this review.